About 2 weeks ago, a friend and I were talking about this movie. Like, we hadn't seen it yet, but we both shared similar sentiments about it. We felt like, yes, there's a new Transformer movie out, and it's an animated Transformer movie, but we didn't feel the need to check it out. We're not interested in it. The only thing that interested us about the film was that it starred Chris Hemsworth as one of the voices or one of the characters in this film, and that was the only thing that interested me and this my friend in seeing this film. And I just finally stumbled upon it and I decided, let me watch this film today. And I watched this film today and I was delightfully surprised. Whew. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In this video, I want to talk about Transformers 1. I think this is the first animated Transformer movies I've ever seen. I know there are some that exist, but I've never seen any of them. This is the first one I'll be seeing. And this one is like an origin story for Megatron and Optimus Prime. If you're a fan of the Transformers franchise, you would have heard of Optimus Prime and Megatron. They are two characters that are always going against themselves. And in this film, we get their beginnings and we get their origin story. And the fact that these characters were actually friends in their early life was something that was just a surprise for me watching this film. And so something that just gave this film so much art and made it a very, very good story. First of all, the friendship between these two characters, you can feel it so deep. Like, they do things for each other, and you just feel like, man, this is such a good friendship. And it just made me think about some of the friends I have had and how we had some kind of bonds. And seeing this friendship with these two characters, it was so hard for me to watch. But at the same time, I was just feeling this sense of dread because I knew what was going to come of it at the end. I knew that by the time we get to the end of this film, these two friends, these two best of friends, they will become enemies. And it was just something that was making me feel uneasy as I was watching this film because I was enjoying their friendship so much. But there was this thought that was still rolling at the back of my mind that, man, this shit won't last. And it was just done in a very, very tragic but interesting way. I like the story of the friendships and how it was explored. And it did not feel forced. It felt like this is the actual progression of these characters. It felt like this is what is going to come because of the things that these characters have gone through in this film. When you watch some kind of films where some characters that are enemies in the future, you are seeing their origins and they were kind of friends before. Some of those storytellers might want to rush the story and just make us get to a place where, okay, this is why they're enemies. And sometimes you won't buy those things. You feel like, no, I don't think this is enough to make these people become these great enemies. But in this film, it does not feel like that. You understand both of the characters' perspectives. You understand why they are feeling the way they are feeling, and you can understand why they go separate ways. And it's just done in a very, very realistic way that does not feel forced. And so something that I just really, really liked with this film. When this film first started, the animation style was something that I did not like. The animation style seemed weird to me. I don't know the way the Transformers looked. I was not feeling it. I did not like the way they looked and the animation style. It was not just working for me, but I just stuck with it because of the story. But as the story kept on progressing, I got used to the animation style and it actually complemented the story, even though I was not feeling it. But I still liked the story and I still liked how the story and the animation style just blended and gave this very interesting story. This film, there are some action sequences in it, some action sequences that they're very exciting, like very, very exciting action sequences. I mean, you see robots fighting. What is not to love about that? And I was enjoying the fight sequences. But I wasn't like so keen on the action sequences. I mean, I enjoyed seeing them, but I was much more interested in the story because of the way the story was told. I was much more invested and enjoying the story. And whew, that story was just a very, very good story. Like I said, the exploration of this friendship that turned into enmity. Oh fuck! It hit me in a very, very personal way that I did not expect, and it just made me flash back to some moments in my life. And this video is just going to get very, very dark if I just keep going on this trend I am going. But it's just a very, very enjoyable story that was told in a very, very endearing way. And the characters as well. The characters are very, very endearing, enjoyable characters to watch. Like when you watch these characters, you feel like you can go on journeys with these characters. And it is surprising because these guys are robots, but you're enjoying watching them and going on this journey with them. The characters were very interesting and I really, really enjoyed seeing them. And I feel like one of the things that made these characters even much more enjoyable to watch was the fact that there were no humans in this film. In most of the Transformers movies we've seen, or basically all the Transformers movies we've seen, there are always humans in them, and the humans are like the anchors for the film, and the Transformers are tied to these humans. But because we don't have any humans here, they gave the Transformers, the machines, the robots, chances to just be characters and just express themselves and just feel like characters, and it was just unexpected and done so well. So it was until after I finished watching this film that I realized, whoa, there weren't any humans in this film, and it was this relatable and endearing to watch. Man, it was done so right. And there's some humor in this film. Like I said earlier, there are some tragic moments because of this friendship and how it ends up. You get some tragic moments in this film, but there are some comedic moments as well. Sometimes the comedy works, and other times it does not work. But it was still fun to see them implementing comedies in some very unexpected ways. That's how I'd put it, because I don't want to spoil anything. But the comedy was done in some very unexpected ways. But I like that as much as there was a lot of comedy in this film, when the tragic moments were happening, they let it play out. They did not give us any kind of comedy to undercut the tragedy of the moments, like how Marvel does their film, where they're always injecting humor in everything. Like it feels very realistic. In real life, we have comedic moments. We have times in our life that are just so funny and we enjoy the comedy of it. But other times there are some really tragic and deep parts of life that we experience. But comedy does not come in all those parts. It just has to be tragic the way it is. And that is how it felt in this film. The tragic moments maintained the tragedy of it, and the humor did not affect it. They did not compromise one another. And it was done very well. I did not think I was going to see this movie. I did not have any interest in it because, frankly, I don't really care for the Transformers franchise. But once in a while, I'll check their movies out. And this movie, I didn't even think it was going to be anything special. But man, I could honestly say this is one of the best Transformers movies I have ever seen. And the fact that it's an animated movie is just mind blowing. Man, I really enjoyed this film. I can't talk about this film without talking about the performances, especially from Brian Tyree Henry. Brian Tyree Henry voiced the character of Megatron, the villain, the bad guy, and maybe not the main bad guy, is the future bad guy, the bad guy we see in the future films. And his performance in this film was so good. When him and Optimus Prime, but his name is not Optimus Prime yet in this film, but when him and Optimus Prime were friends in the early stages of their relationship, you could feel something that Brian Tyree was doing with his voice. It seemed very friendly. It seemed like he was being a friend and being very charming with his friend. And you could see it in his voice, or you could hear it in his voice, that this person is being friendly and this person is a friend. But when the character starts going on a dark path, his voice just becomes very dark and very sinister. And I'm like, whoa, this guy just transformed this character from a friend to a very terrifying, sinister character, and it was done so effortlessly. It did not feel forced. It just felt like this character has gone through all these things and he's finally getting to this place. And Brian Tyree Henry's performance just, whew, it just made it so good. It heightened the greatness of the character and the story. I can give Brian Tyree Henry all the credit because honestly, it's the one I enjoy the most. But it would be unfair not to give Chris Hemsworth some credit. So because he also had that thing. He also had that thing with his voice performance. Like when they are still friends, you feel them being friends and being charming and being funny with each other. But when the stakes get high, they transform into a much more deeper character than the character we knew earlier, and the character that we will later find out about in the future, in their stories in the future. And it was just so beautiful. Those two actors, Brian Tyree Henry and Chris Hemsworth, they delivered fantastic performances in this film that just made me enjoy this film so much more. Honestly, I cannot even point to a single thing that I did not like with this film. Everything was good. The storytelling was good. The performances were good. The action sequences were good. Okay, maybe I could say the animation style, I did not like it initially, but I got used to it and I grew to enjoy it. But a lot of things worked so much with this film. And the fact that I just wrote this film off my mind that it's just going to be another film, and me enjoying it as much as I did, is just something that was a delight, honestly. And man, if you've seen this movie and you've been thinking, nah, I'm not going to bother myself with this shit, my G, bother yourself with this shit. If you watch this movie, I am sure you're going to enjoy it. It is just as good as any other, if not better than any other Transformers films you have ever seen. In my opinion, this is the best Transformers movies I've ever seen, and I say it with my full chest. That is how much I enjoyed this film. If you've not seen this movie, check it out. And if you've seen this movie, what do you think about it? Comment below and let me know. Is this your first time on my channel? Please subscribe to my channel for more contents like this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers.